You have been waiting for this number your entire adult life. Not consciously, not out loud, but somewhere underneath everything. Underneath the transfers, the skipped dinners, the co-workers laugh, the parking lot mornings, the drawer in the kitchen. Underneath all of it, you have been waiting for the day the account says $100,000. You are 38. It is a Wednesday in November. You are sitting in your car in the office parking lot at 7:51 in the morning. You open the app the way you always do. A habit now, like checking the weather for a city you live in. The number loaded, $100,412. You stare at it. You wait for the feeling everyone described. The relief, the arrival, the sense that something has finally changed. You wait for 4 minutes in the parking lot. Nothing comes. You put the phone in your pocket. You walk into the building. You sit at your desk. You open your email. Nobody knows. Nobody notices. You do not feel different. And that, you will realize much later, is exactly the point. You are 23. It is a Saturday afternoon in September. You are sitting at a kitchen table that belongs to a lease you cannot quite afford. Your laptop is open. A video is playing. A man in a gray room is talking about compound interest. You barely understand it, but one sentence lands. He says, the first $100,000 is the hardest. After that, the money starts doing more of the work than you do. You pause the video. You sit with that sentence for a moment. You do not know what $100,000 feels like. You have $340 in checking. You have $0 in savings. You have $19,000 in student debt. $100,000 is not a number that belongs to your life yet. It belongs to someone else's life. The life you're going to have someday. You close the laptop. The next morning, you open a brokerage account. It takes 11 minutes. You fund it with $200. You choose a total market index fund, not because you understand it, because the man in the video said to. You close the app. You go to work. You forget you did it by Thursday. You are 25. 2 years have passed. The account has $5,200 in it. You know this because you checked it on your lunch break while eating a sandwich at your desk. Your co-worker from accounting, a man named Brian, sits across from you. Brian is 31. Brian just leased a new car. Brian is telling you about it the way men tell you about things they cannot afford. Brian says the payment is $680 a month. You do the math in your head the way you always do now. $680 a month, 12 months, 10 years, 7% average annual return. The number that comes back is larger than Brian's car will ever be worth. You say, that's a nice car. Brian says, you should get one. You work hard. You say, maybe next year. Brian nods. Brian goes back to his sandwich. The account has $5,200. Brian does not know. You do not tell him. The car is not the point. The point is that you are starting to see everything differently now. Every purchase Brian makes translates into a number in your head. A number that will never sit in an account. A number gone. You do not say this out loud. You eat your sandwich. You are 28. 3 years later, the account has $31,000. Your best friend from college, a woman named Priya, calls you on a Sunday night. She just got a promotion. She is celebrating. She booked a trip to Italy, 2 weeks, business class, $6,800. She asks if you want to come. She says she'll pay for the hotel. You just need the flight. You open the app while she's talking. The flight is $1,400. You look at the account, $31,000. You could go. The math works. You could go and come back, and the account would still be there. You say, I can't this time. Maybe the next one, she says. You always say that. You say, I know. She goes to Italy. She sends you photos. Amalfi Coast at sunset. A table with wine and bread. Her face in the window of a train. You look at the photos. You feel something. Not regret exactly. Something adjacent to regret, something that lives in the same neighborhood. You open the app again, $31,000. You close it, you go to bed. The next morning, you increase your monthly transfer by $50. That is what you do with the feeling. You are 31. The account has $62,000. You are at a dinner party at a friend's apartment. 8 people around a table. Someone opens a bottle of wine that costs $90. The conversation turns to money the way it always does at dinner parties now. Everyone is talking about real estate, about the market, about what their place is worth, about refinancing, about equity. A man named Steven across the table says he has $80,000 in home equity. He says it the way men say things they want you to know. The table responds the way tables respond to things people want them to know. Impressed, nodding. Someone asks a follow-up question. You eat your pasta. You have $62,000 in an index fund. Nobody asks about it. Nobody knows. Steven does not know. You think about whether you should say something. You decide you shouldn't, not because you're hiding it, because there is nothing to perform. The account is not for the table. The account is not for Steven. The account is for the Wednesday morning you don't know about yet. The one in a parking lot at 7:51 a.m. You refill your water. You listen to Steven. You say, "That's great." He nods. He is satisfied. You go back to your pasta. You are 34. The account has $88,000. You can see the number now. From here, $100,000. It is not theoretical anymore. It is 12 months away, maybe 14, maybe 10 if the market does what it has been doing. You start checking the account more often than you should. Twice a week, then 3 times. Then once in the morning and once at night. You start calculating. If the market returns 7% and you contribute $600 a month, the number comes back in 11 months. If the market returns 9%, 9 months. If the market drops 15%, you don't finish that calculation. You notice something changing in how you sit with the account. The patience that carried you 11 years is starting to fray at the edges. You are close, closer than you have ever been to the number that was supposed to change everything. And you are starting to feel the weight of that supposed to. What if it doesn't? What if you hit $100,000 and feel exactly the way you feel now? You don't say this out loud. You close the app. You go to work. You are 35. The market drops, not slightly. It drops the way markets drop when they want to remind you that they do not care about your timeline. Your $88,000 becomes $74,000 in 6 weeks. You lost $14,000. That is more than 2 years of contributions. Gone. Not gone the way Brian's car payment was gone. Not spent on something, not exchanged for an experience, just gone. A number that existed and then didn't. You open the app on a Tuesday morning, $74,211. You stare at it. You feel something you have not felt in 11 years of doing this. You feel like stopping, not panicking, not selling, just stopping, pausing, sitting down somewhere and not doing this anymore. You close the app. You do not sell. You do not change the transfer. You go to work. You eat lunch at your desk. Brian is not there anymore. Brian left for another company 2 years ago. He texted you once after. He said he got another car. You think about Brian. You think about the Italy photos, about the $90 wine, about Steven's home equity. You think about the man in the gray room and the sentence that started all of this. The first $100,000 is the hardest. After that, the money does more work than you do. You are still in the hardest part. You open the app again. At a 4% withdrawal rate, $100,000 generates $4,000 a year, $333 a month. Your grocery bill. It is the beginning, not the destination. But here is what it does. It proves the system works. And once you know the system works, once you have lived 15 years of proof, you stop wondering if you should be doing this. You stop second-guessing the transfer. You stop feeling the Italy photos in the way you used to. You just keep going, because now you know where going leads. You get out of the car. You walk into the building. You sit at your desk. You open your email. The account has $100,412. Nobody in this building knows. You would not tell them if they asked. Not because it is a secret, because the account is not for them. It never was. Maybe you are at $23,000 right now. Maybe you are at $67,000 and you can see the line from where you are standing. Maybe you just crossed it and you are sitting in a parking lot waiting to feel different. If you are waiting, stop waiting. The feeling is not coming. The Wednesday is the feeling. The going to work anyway is the feeling. feeling. The closing the app and not selling is the feeling. You already felt it 100 times in 100 parking lots over 15 years. You just did not recognize it as the feeling because it felt like nothing. That was the whole thing. That was all of it. The first $100,000 is not hard because of the math. It is hard because of the silence. The silence where the feeling is supposed to be. Most people cannot sit in that silence long enough. They fill it with the car, with the trip, with the wine, with the equity they perform at dinner parties. You sat in it. For 15 years, you sat in it. And now you have $100,412 and a Wednesday morning and a building to walk into. And that is the whole story. The rest is just math. And the math from here starts doing more of the work than you do. Drive safe.